Welcome to the bold analysis. President William Ruto carried a bag of lies as the only tool of manipulation during his Mount Kenya tour. And the Monday night interview that was actually planned to try to set the tone for the mountain, in my own assessment, is actually what is going to crush that tour. With his anger clearly spilling out during the interview, when faced with facts, it is clear William Ruto has crushed himself before the people and is set himself for much and more ridicule. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. Happy new month, this month of April. Another moment to thank God for the gift of life that has given to us. And are you looking for solar solutions? For solar solutions, I would recommend to you Instalight. Instalight are the best in solar solutions. They have different packages depending on what suits your need, whether it is a house you've built in up country, you're looking for solar, you want to light up your space in the office so that you can say goodbye to power outages. I would ask you to speak to Gideome from Instalight. He's actually the owner and the founder of the Instalight. And his number is 0722 818 883. 0722 818 883. And tell him it's from The Bold. And I believe you'll also be able to benefit from very good discount. So Instalight, they're the best in solar solutions in town. There is a claim of the 10 billion that the president alleged on Rigathi Gachagua. I've listened to that and I've just realized it's not new. At Rigathi impeachment, someone spoke about 6 billion. I think that was Itumbi made a post. Ichunga spoke about 8 billion, said it's 8 billion. William Ruto curated it at 10 billion. Who is who? And the reason why believability of the president is in doubt, and most of us doubt and say he's lying about all that, is that they cannot be able to explain why they impeached Rigathi. When you try to establish what Muturi said in parliament and what Ruto said in Sagana, you can read between the lines and see probably, and it's true, the president is lying. I'm a bit convinced. I bumped on this interview to you, talking about this political currency of bribe.
Allegations, sir. What did you mean by he was paid, by whom and how much?
Well, these are demands for payment which he didn't only make on TNA that time, but he made them on ODM previously. So there's nothing new about that.
So how much, who made the payments?
Well, a lot of people who supported President Uhuru went out of their way to collect this money and to make Ruto come on board.
Do we know how much?
Well, you know, for a man who says 7 billion is only, your guess is as good as mine, but it was in billions.
It was in the billions?
Yes. And that's nothing surprising. I mean, we have a very senior politician from Western Kenya who asked Right Honorable Raila Odinga for 900 million before he could give him support. It's almost in the public domain. So that is the currency of some of these politicians, and Ruto is one of them.
Tell me something. This payment was in return for what?
Well, they would clothe it in various ways, like I need that money so that I can go and convince my community or I can convince my constituency. But it was colossal amounts of money. It was like the upfront payment. Then the final payment is through grabbing certain ministries, making sure that finance, making sure that agriculture, making sure that infrastructure. If he didn't have the minister, he had the permanent secretaries, and then he went on a looting spree.
Now, there was a statement about Muturi and the president alleged that Muturi was inconsistent, was incompetent, and Muturi allegedly told him he was unable to deliver on that as Attorney General of the country.
Kwa mambo ya rafiki yangu Bwana Muturi nilimpatia kazi kama mkuu wa sheria. Yeye mwenyewe alinieleza ya kwamba hii kazi kwa sababu hajakuwa practice kwa muda mrefu, kwa sababu alitoka huko kwa kuwa magistrate, akaenda bunge, akakuwa mbunge, akakuwa speaker, akasema ile kazi kidogo inamlemea. Yeah? So nikakaa kidogo nikaona kweli amelemewa na ile kazi, lakini makosa pengine ni yangu, nilimsindikizia, I persuaded him, nikamwambia no, it's okay, fanya tu hii kazi, nafikiri haitakulemea. Lakini kwa muda nikaona kweli imemlemea, so nikasema okay, wacha nimbadilishie kazi, nikampatia kazi ya waziri. Lakini hata wewe unajua, sasa hapo katikati akagoma kuja katika baraza la mawaziri. Sasa mimi nataka nikuulize wewe, ni mimi nimemvuta kazi ama ni yeye alijivuta kazi? Sasa wewe ni waziri, baraza la mawaziri umeigomea. What am I supposed to do?
Lakini Mheshimiwa Rais, iwapo
aliyekuwa
speaker ama aliyekuwa mwanasheria mkuu alitoa ripoti baada ya matamshi yako ya kusema kwamba yeye hakuwa competent, akatoa ripoti ya kuonyesha yale mambo ambayo aliweza kuyaafikia wakati alipokuwa ofisini.
So I gave my good friend Justin a chance, a second chance, but in the process he dismissed himself, and I have what did you expect me to do? I give somebody a chance, he starts to do whatever he's doing. So I think let's move on. Let us and you know, it's not the end of the road. JB Muturi has a very good pension as a former speaker, so hawezi kuumia sana ataenda kuhangaika, ako na kazi nyingi, ako na pension, anaweza kusonga mbele.
I smile for that statement because intentionally the president could not tell the country, and I don't know why, that the point he actually changed Muturi was after Gen Z protest. So we were in this country in August 2024 when the parliament, when the cabinet was dissolved. When that cabinet was dissolved, when it was reconstituted, it is at that point that Muturi was reshuffled as Attorney General to Cabinet Secretary. And so this begs the question, at that point, does the president want to tell us that that is the point he asked Muturi, and Muturi was clearly told him he's incompetent, that is why he was changed? But we'll understand the reason why he had taken to dodge that question, because there are things he didn't want to mention in that interview. Number one is Gen Z protest. He was avoiding that word. There was no way he was going to mention and trying to acknowledge the fact that the move to dissolve cabinet was actually triggered by that protest. And a question that most of us have been asking here, and we've been saying, is that the state, or rather the State House, needed to explain to the masses the effectiveness of swapping cabinet. Just as players, sometimes even in football it's better. Thank God Saka is back to the Arsenal lineup tonight as they play Fulham. When Arteta changes a player, you're most likely going to get two outcomes. Maybe a goal for them to win, or probably it will be a blow to the team and the team goes even to concede more goals. Now the second outcome is what happens, that as Ruto changes and reshuffles and swaps that cabinet, more goals are getting in and the team continues to lose. And when he is faced with this question, he loses his temper.
Martin.
Yes,
Martin.
Kuna swali ambalo dadangu hapa ameuliza na hujajibu. Ningeomba ujibu tafadhali kwamba mawaziri unawabadilisha mpaka sasa a record 3 times in a ministry, Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa miaka miwili. Sidhani kwamba yule waziri kwamba kama atakuwa ametulia hata kufanya kazi ama utakuwa umempea nafasi ya kufanya kazi. La pili, mtukufu Rais, umetaja mambo ya miraa. Sijui kama huko na habari kwamba tunavyoongea hivi sasa shirika la ndege la Ethiopia Airways limewacha kubeba miraa ambayo ilikuwa inabeba miraa kwenda Israel, kwenda Sierra Leone, I think limewacha kubeba miraa. La tatu, nadhani utayakumbuka yote, ni Nithi Bridge. Nithi Bridge mpaka leo hakuna kitu ambacho kimefanyika kwa Nithi Bridge. Ulikuwa umepromise kwamba in 100 days itakuwa imeanza kujengwa, ukakuja tena ukasema in 6 months itakuwa imeanza kujengwa. Mpaka leo Mheshimiwa Rais, hakuna kitu kimefanyika, na watu wanakufa. Real people are dying at Nithi Bridge, Mheshimiwa Rais. Like they are really dying there at Nithi Bridge.
Okay, wacha nikujibu mambo ya mawaziri. Kila serikali inabadilisha mawaziri. I want you to tell me how many times Kibaki changed ministers. No, I'm just telling you.
The frequency. You had a chance ya kuchagua mawaziri.
Si umeniuliza maswali.
Mheshimiwa, niruhusu
I listen to you when you are asking. Why don't you listen to me when I'm answering?
You are asking me.
Yeah, relax. So, Kibaki alibadilisha mawaziri when it was necessary. Uhuru alibadilisha mawaziri when it is necessary. When it is necessary, I will change ministers because it is my prerogative. And ultimately, whatever the ministers are doing, ultimately, I will be asked. The buck stops with me, ultimately. So that is why I am going to work with people who ultimately are going to help me answer the final question to the people of Kenya.
Yes, and umetuambia hapa kwamba wale au mawaziri wengine walikuwa marafiki zako, but then you had a chance wakati uliondoa cabinet yote. You had a chance ya kuchagua watu ambao labda hutawabadilisha baada ya miezi mitatu ama miwili.
Martin,
naam,
kama unaona sijafanya vizuri,
sijasema hujafanya vizuri.
No, sasa
ni kwamba unawabadilisha mpaka sasa. Mimi mwanahabari saa nyingine hata nashindwa kukumbuka waziri fulani ni wa wizara gani.
Kazi sasa utakuwa unaanguka mtihani usipojua waziri ni nani. That is your problem. Your problem is to find out who is the minister for whatever. So let me just tell you that kazi ndio mimi niko naye. Nitafanya vile naelewa inapaswa kufanyika. Let me give you an example. Unajua kwa hiki bwa Mwere, kuna wakati mmoja alienda kumuona Rais Kibaki. Kamwambia, bwana Rais, kuna shida hapa, kuna shida hapa, hapa iko shida, hapa iko shida, hapa iko shida, ungefanya hivi, ungefanya hivi. Kibaki akanyamaza, akamsikiza. Alipomaliza akamwambia Koigi, hiyo maneno yote umesema, siku ukikuwa rais ufanye hivyo vile unataka. Wacha mimi nifanye vile najua.
So it's something very clear that he's very uncomfortable when faced with the truth. I did come to realize one thing, that the president is trying to play a victim of this. That, you know, I appointed these people, they failed me, you know, the guy was after MPs, then he came for me. So you want to play a victim in a game that you are the main actor. You know? and that is why I'm saying that interview is crushed himself just because of one thing, lying. Probably, if I was him, I would have pulled a different card and own up when I need to. Now, there is this other denial on Gen Z and on this narrative that, you know, police acting independently, I gave them money. This has been said several times. But the public needs to get it right. the fact that William Ruto gave some financial autonomy to the police did not make the police immune from taking directions from him. Why? Even after that financial autonomy, if you look at the budget making process where money is allocated to different departments and commissions, that decision on how much is going where still rests with the executive. So yes, you've given them an office and some financial autonomy, but do you know that it is still the president who decides how much is going there? Even if he's giving them, he has still decided how much is going there. So he tries to disassociate himself. And this is some of the things where I'm saying the president is crushing himself on the people. Mwananchi knows well that the young men who are hit in the head, whose heads were blown in front of parliament carrying flags and all that, that could not happen under what he said, police independence. Those are very strict, and the president cannot wash his hands clean on what happened in this country. And I've just realized the more he tries to pull this is what is annoying the people. Hii ndio inakasirisha watu. You are heads on, you are hands on. When we are reshuffling cabinet, you are saying, when things go wrong, I am the person responsible. But when young people are killed in the street and you are told about it, you are saying it is the police and the responsible. Come on. You cannot have your cake and eat it. And you must, he is really, really, really hands on that. And that is what I'm saying. Ruto is crashing himself on the mountain. You can't choose what to associate with and what not. While at the same time you're saying, I am the head of government. And these are the three things that are crushing him. Pretending innocence on state failures and apportioning blames. I can tell you, he's blaming Minister X, Minister Y. And at the same time, he's the appointing authority and he claims to be the person who knows more. I remember the issue on Muturi. You cannot claim innocence. Muturi made a statement about abduction. And I just realized that the journalists at the State House Sagana, they didn't provide, or rather they were not at par to interview the president. And William Ruto wanted to talk to the country, but has been dodging the mainstream media. There was a roundtable interview that has been called by the president, that was called. The mainstream media tried, and he was being refusing. So because he was going to Mount Kenya, he decided to collect some fringe media. No, not fringe. He decided to call journalists from the vernacular stations because he was avoiding the mainstream fellows. Because I can tell you, nothing will stop Linus Kakai to ask him the tough questions about Muturi. Muturi question, it was not delivered to me. The journalists did not deliver the question as was expected. So, and Muturi stopped going to cabinet after raising those questions. Then he says he refused. That was not even the point. The question would have been, Muturi refused going when he said that the issue of abduction needed to be in cabinet. That question, he needed to be asked that question. So pretending innocence in this is making people more annoyed. And that is why people say him lying. Number two, defending even what should actually be what he should accept. 2 years and a half, you are still struggling to collect finished projects, but you're still defending yourself and saying, I'm still promising more. You should accept that on your side, there have been failures. And then pick yourself up and say, I am willing to correct them. But without accepting failure, people can't believe you when you're saying you're going to do it. And there is a serious fact check on projects. If you look at some of the projects, we're going to pay attention. My next video is going to be on that, especially on the projects it's going to launch on day one. And the country must be keen on what the president is going to say. And I believe that if they don't take President head on in terms of what he says, they're not going to get away with it. Because the only tool of manipulation available is lying. Thank you.